Hey folks, it's Rithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Ravenport. We're going to take our leased truck that we've got right here and this absolutely wonderful trailer that we've got right here, and we are going to sell these eggs. There has been an updated version of this. Alfalfa, the creator, he's the one that released it onto Nexus Mods. The absolute creator. He's not like stolen it or anything from anybody else. He is the one, the man. And I also greatly admire him, it must be said, because a modder that hasn't released a mod through a third-party download site, sometimes they seem to be few and far between. Although I'm finding more. I am finding more. And you people, you gentlemen, well, you ladies and gentlemen, you are an admirable breed. You're not sort of going out for a few extra pennies. You are making sure that people can enjoy your mods without having the risk of some really nasty stuff going onto your computers. So I absolutely 100% love modders who do this. It is genuinely wonderful. But he's released a new version of this, and we've got all of our straps on at the moment. So I'm going to take those off, and what I wanted to do was, we've already got the egg boxes selected. He said that he wasn't aware about it not auto-loading from the trailer. That was something that it's not intended. So you can see they're there, they're out of place at the moment, and there should, well, if I've put the mod in correctly, and this is the updated version I've got now, it should now work correctly. So if I press U, there we go. Almost. We got it almost. We got everything except for those two. I don't know why two of them didn't work, but the rest of them did. Actually, there's more than two. Look at that. They're sliding everywhere. Okay, I really don't understand why it's done that. Right, and why is the autoloader not working? I've got autoload on, haven't I? Oh. Wait a minute. No, there was something else, I think, with the update. I'm pretty sure, because I got no way of seeing how many are in this box. Pretty sure that it will no longer take part boxes. Because, you know, it puts the part boxes up on there. But when you drive past, it picks them all up. It should, as far as I know, no longer take the part boxes. But that's what we've got on the trailer at the moment, is we've got full boxes and we've got the part boxes. So that's what these are. That's what those are right there. That's why it's not picking them up. It's because they're part boxes. Right. Okay, that's actually very cool. So you can now just drive on past, and there it's not picking up the part box. It's not interested. It doesn't want to know. It's going to leave them as is. So I will take these part boxes here, and we will load them into these pallets like this, just very quickly. Actually, I can probably just throw them in. There we go, like that. Well, I didn't want to do that. I didn't dislike the eggs that much. No, they are kind of useful. Go in. Did that? I think that loaded in. It didn't, like, catapult off into the middle of nowhere. Right, so we will stop right there then, and we will turn the loading bit off, and then we will unload onto the trailer as normal, and then we will put the straps on like that. So this is just full boxes now. We don't have any extra boxes. We've just got the full boxes. We are going to go and sell these eggs very quickly, and I'm going to come back and we're going to put all of our pallets back in place. So we are looking at 4, 6 at the ranch. We want to go to the ranch. We will go up this way. We'll go up there, and then we will head back over. So that one should be loading eggs straight into those pallets, and then when we come back, we'll use this trailer to load up some more pallets, move them round. On the Discord, Duck Zorley, who I mentioned in the last video, he said that, well, no, not that he said, he shared a screenshot of some round bales that he was working with this trailer, and he'd been out gathering them up off the field, bringing them back to the yard and stacking them. And the absolute beautiful thing about the stack of bales that he showed the picture of was the way the modders worked. And they had them all stacked up nice and high. You know, where we had the adjustable positioning for unloading, he'd been using that, and he had round bales stacked 6 bales high, all on their edges, all on their ends, stacked 6 bales high in a very neat and tidy stack. It looked absolutely fantastic, and that is one of the big features that I really love about this trailer, is you're no longer having to just unload them on the level, and you can't alter that. We're now able to choose the positioning exactly where we want to unload, and it makes it look a lot better. It really does. It looks absolutely fantastic. And the ranch, oh, I need to go up that. I thought it was down there somewhere. It's not. It's up here. There's the ranch up there. But that picture of the round bales just sort of really emphasized just what this trailer is capable of doing, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. We've got some... I was thinking about making some more bales at some point. We haven't made bales for a day or two on here, and we will be making more bales. And so I'm thinking that we might try and do it using this one as well. Now, big problem with this is that the trailer is ever so slightly too high for the sell point. If I unload it... Oh... No, the lorry was in the way. Oh, that was to do with the truck, not the trailer, not the height of the trailer. It's because the truck was underneath it. And that was like blocking where it would take it from. I didn't even know that was a thing. I know that, like, if you've got the forks in the bale, it won't accept it, and you've got to remove the forks from a bale in order for it to be accepted at a... Well, I don't know about a sell point. But certainly, we know that for a fact at the the sheep pen and the horses and stuff like that. You've got to take the forks out. But it obviously seems to work along the same kind of principle with the eggs, which is actually pretty cool as well. Okay, I'm finding out all sorts of new things. I was having a bit of trouble with the lights in the last episode, where I couldn't get the high beams on. I could only do it with the rear lights on as well, because I was pressing F. Now, you press F to turn your lights on, but apparently it's keyboard 6. Oh, no. Oh, that's the rear ones. There! Keyboard 5, I've just got high beams on. Low beams, high beams. Low beams, high beams. Ha ha! So you don't just... See, I thought that you just pressed F and you cycled through the lights. But apparently you don't. You've got individual light controls, and that was something that was in FS 17 anyway. I had no idea, but a lot of you did have an idea, and you were telling me in the comments section. And some more people were pointing this out over on the Discord as well. If you haven't joined the Discord, you should consider coming along and joining. We have a lot of fun over there. Share screenshots, talk about this game, talk about other games, talk about all sorts of things, really. Very often, like, well, mostly yesterday was all I did, was I do a lot of drive-bys. I sort of go in, I say hello, and then 10 seconds later I say, right, goodbye, I'm off to do more work, and then I disappear again. So it's literally just a drive-by, hello, goodbye. You know, this may not be to your liking, but unfortunately that's just the way it's got to be. And it's quite interesting that most other people, they don't do that. So, you know, I'm not all... Some days I have to do drive-bys, and that's all I can do. So I can just do a quick drive-by. Cotton modules. There was some issue with cotton modules on the trailer that's also been fixed. I don't know what it was, though. So I'm not even going to pretend to know what that's about. I want that one, and then I want work mode on like that. Wait, why aren't you loading up? Hang on about. Oh, this is to do with... That's a part pallet down there. Those two pallets are part loaded. These two pallets are full. Those two are part loaded. That's the same thing again. So that's the update now. It doesn't do like all the pallets. It just does the full pallets. Now that is really good. But at the same time, it could also be a nuisance. Well, like there, it's a bit of a nuisance. But overall, I think this is a good thing. Like, if we come over here, I know one of these wool pallets is full. Let's just test this, because we got 2 part pallets here, and we've got a full one. And it's taking the full one only, and it's leaving the others. See, we got the reusable pallet right there. Right, that's good. So it's grabbing only the full pallets, it's leaving the part ones behind. Now, this could be considered both good and bad, partly because of, you know, the whole thing that we've got going on up there. Wait a minute. Autoloader work mode off. There. Right, I've unloaded it there. I've got wool, and I'm sort of unloading it onto the actual truck now. Then I'll put some straps on, and then and only then will I switch off. Right, we're done for a minute. We're going to go and grab our new Holland, and we're just going to move those 2 pallets of eggs back over to the chicken pen so that they're in place and ready to go. But the other trailer that we've got, where we manually loaded the pallets up onto it, we're not going to need to worry about that anymore, because what we can do is we can just bring like 6 pallets down. We can bring a load of pallets down with this one, dump a few of them into the pen, and the part ones will just get left behind. We can swing by and we can pick them up. We're probably, yeah, I don't know. We will still be using them. Right, we'll still be using this one. We'll still be moving pallets around a bit with this one, but certainly the autoloader coming along and just picking up the full pallets and leaving behind the part pallets is definitely going to make our lives a lot easier. So I'll dump that into there like that. Now I can stick quite a lot of egg pallets into that bit there. We know we've got that trailer full up there ahead of us, and that one will do 6 pallets all at once. We can leave the whole lot on the trailer. And then these down here, we've got part pallets working in here. So we've got 2 of them there. Dump that down. Perfect. Stop you. I'm just going to leave that one there for a minute. We'll probably need to move that, but I'll grab that little... There, we can just drop that into there. I've got another pallet down over that way. I'm going to go and grab that one and... See, now I'm wondering if I should... do a bit with the chicken pen down here. I'm actually seriously considering selling the chicken pen down over here. We get rid of that one completely. There's other things I still want to do. I want to turn this field all into grass. I want to turn the whole thing into grass down here. That was something I was talking about. That's still on my to-do list. That pen down there, we could leave that one as just boxes, or I could get rid of it altogether so that I can get some more horses. Because I did actually want to get more horses onto this series so that we can start getting through the Great Book of Names just a little bit faster. I would like to be able to cycle through the Great Book of Names a little bit faster than we are at the moment. I feel I owe it to everybody that supports this channel to get your names into the series a little more frequently than we do at the moment. So that's another thing that I want to work on. Going to bring you up to there and stop. So let's just take a look at what we've got for animals at the moment. Chickens up there, they're fine, and so are those. And then in storage, we've got for wheat or barley, we've got 18,000 litres of wheat. So we could do with some more wheat. Definitely going to want some more wheat. We've only got 10,000 litres of that. 13,000 in there. So yeah, we're definitely going to want some more. Grass, hay, water, we're alright for a couple of days for that there. Then we've got these chickens here. They're about halfway down on the pen. I'm thinking I'm going to let them use up their food, and then we'll get rid of this pen with the 100 chickens, and we'll just go for the bigger ones. And what I'm hoping is they've still got at least 3 days worth of food in here. We've got several horses at $37,000, which is brilliant, and then we've got a few more at $22,000. But what I'm thinking is if I get rid of that chicken pen there, I may well have enough room for another horse. We could put another horse pen right there in the middle. Might be a bit of a tight squeeze, to be honest. I don't know if we'll be able to fit that one in. It's likely to have a bit of a funny reaction, what with the wood chips and stuff that we've got down, but we may be able to fit a horse pen in there. So look, what's the size difference? You know, we've got some money at the moment, so we ought to be able to at least take a look at the horse pen. I mean, a big horse pen would be pretty good, that large horse paddock there, but I mean, we'll go with this one. So that's the size of it right there. I've actually, I had it round the other way, didn't I? So let's, first of all, let's rotate it round. So I've got it completely round the other side. I'd actually say, so we've got, that would be the food on, the water would be on the top side. Doing it the same as this, the food is down there. Look, see, the food's down that bit there. And then I could bring this one up here. And there'll be room to put it in here. We will be able to put that horse pen in there, I think. I'm reasonably confident that we'd be able to put the horse pen in there somewhere. Just squeeze it in there instead of those chickens. Might not fit, but I'm hoping it will. There's kind of, I'm going to go on hope on that one, so we'll get rid of the chicken pen. We'll probably have to get rid of the, well, I almost definitely have to get rid of the wood chips and stuff as well, just to be able to make sure it all fits, and then it should be absolutely fine. We've got a little bit of stuff down here. So we've got several jobs now that we want to do. These are bigger jobs that we want to do. First job that we do actually want to do this week is we want to get the lime on the field. A few people said that they didn't really want me switching off the weeds because it's something that farmers have got to deal with on a regular basis. However, we have got lime that we've still got to deal with, and because it's periodic, it's sort of, it's not going to get boring. And the thing that the reason I'm turning off the weeds is because we've got to deal with that every single crop, and it starts to get a little bit tedious doing the same job all the time. It sort of slows us down from being able to progress. I was giving a little bit of consideration to another mod that I seen, which auto-feeds the animals. Takes the money automatically out of your wallet and automatically feeds the animals and gives them 10 days worth of food. And I thought that's actually a pretty good mod. I like the idea of it. I certainly like the idea behind that. It keeps the animals at midnight every night. It tops up their food and gives them a full 10 days worth of food. If you go and buy 200 cows, you're going to be in for a fair old whack of money being taken out. But overall, it's pretty good. And I got to thinking about this. Maybe we could use that in the series a little bit. I'm not quite sure when, though. I don't really know when we would start using that. Now, we can go and put lime on this field up here. And then, do you need... I don't know if you even need to lime the grass. I don't think we do. I don't think... No. Right here. It's fertilized, but it's not limed. Turn the lime off. Turn fertilizer, yeah, so it's not asking for lime on there. And I don't know, if I go and lime it now, is it going to request that... If I didn't lime it and then I planted it with grass, would it still be requesting that I put lime on there? That's the bit that I'm not sure about. Yeah, I've no idea about that. I'm going to put lime on this bit here first anyway. So we're going to start going like that, and we're going to spread all of this field. Once this field is done, then we'll start worrying about the other one over the other side. So, as chickens is kind of our big thing, we are going to be getting more horses. We are going to be working towards more horses, but the next thing we want is a bit of land, and then once we've got that extra field, we will be expanding on our chicken empire, because chickens is the thing that we want to concentrate on. Expanding the sheep now does seem like a sensible idea, because we've got this pallet mod so that we can easily take the wool out. Plus we've got this wonderful auto-load trailer, which means that we'll be able to use that in order to take out yet more of the wool quickly and easily. We just load a load of pallets there onto the sell point and have done with it. We don't need to worry about it at all. We'll just let the the auto-load trailer come along and gather up all the ones that need auto-loading. I think it's fantastic that it's just taking the full ones. And yeah, it was a bit of a nuisance there where we had to move it. But I'd rather have it that way round than the other way round, where it's constantly taking the part ones, because having to deal with the part ones is a little bit of a nuisance. You know, you load up all of the pallets there, so you've either got to move them, separate them out, wait for them all to be loaded up, or, you know, and there's a few other different ways that you can deal with it, but it's still time consuming and a bit of a jolly nuisance. Whereas doing it like this, we just straight whiz by. We can go past all of our chicken pens, and I'm hoping to have more than just a couple chicken pens. I'm hoping to have 5 or 6 big chicken pens, all laid out, all full of chickens, all producing masses and masses of eggs. And if I can put 6 or 8 pallets on each one, we'll try and find a way to do that with the auto-loader as well, so that we're just grabbing a few of them. I think I know a good way of doing it. It just requires us to be a little bit careful picking up some pallets, and then we can go and unload them straight onto the point, the sale point for the chickens, not the collection point for the chickens, sorry. So I think I know a reasonably good way of doing that should work, all being well. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Right, that seems to be working fairly well, so I'm going to let that carry on for a minute. I'm going to go over to here. I'm going to leave that trailer right there with everything all strapped on in place. And we're going to head over this way because we want to get a plow. We want to make that field bigger, and we're going to turn the whole thing into grass. That is definitely something that I want to do. I want that whole field there. So we've got one big grass field, because we're going to need that grass. If we decide that we're not going to... There's something that I want you to talk about today in the comments section. I won't be able to see your results to this until... Well, I might possibly be able to see the results to some of it early next week, before I finish recording the final episode for... I say next week, this week. For you, it's this week, okay? So I might be able to see the results before the final episode this week. I might not. Just the results, your comments, just to be able to see what you think of it and what you think of the idea and so on. Should I or should I not use the... Hang on. Yeah, should I or should I not use this mod that will allow us to auto-feed all of the animals so that we can concentrate on some of the other things? It does buy it, though. It does buy the food rather than filling it from storage. And that's the one bit of it that I'm not sure would work out very well in our favour. Because, like, if you're feeding 2,000 chickens, that's an awful lot of chicken feed, isn't it? That is a huge amount of chicken feed. Right. I've created a field across there. This track, remember, we're getting rid of this track completely. And we're making a new track over that side to replace this track. But I'm not going to make that new track just yet. I want to get a bit more money, and I want to buy some more land. So we've got some eggs ready to go. We've also got some horses that are approaching ready to go as well. If I just get that lime onto the field up there, I want to get that field planted as well, and then we will start fast-forwarding time once more. So we've got a couple of jobs that we want to do before we do any more fast-forwarding. And then we can hurry up and do a bit more time fast-forwarding and get a bit more money, get some more crops being cashed in on, that sort of thing. And hopefully make ourselves an absolute fortune. And let's bring that to... Oh, no, I want to go a bit higher than that. Go on a bit more than that. There, like that. Somebody said that there is now a GPS mod out. Now, some people have been playing around with this on the Discord. It doesn't look like it's been converted all that well at the moment. So it's kind of very much would be a work in progress type approach. Whether it would be worth even going for at all, I don't know. I should have gone the other way with my cycling through the machinery. Right. What have we got? We have got a little bit down there that hasn't been done. And a bit over there. We'll go and grab this little bit down here first. And spread all of that. There we go. And then whiz down through there like that, and take all of that out, and then we'll head up here. So yeah, this feeding all the animals, right? On the surface, it sounds like it's pretty good, but how much is it going to cost? You know, it's going to get quite expensive, I'd have thought, feeding all the animals like that, having them all auto-fed. And we all know that with animals, probably 3/4 of the work is keeping them fed. It's all well and good to have it auto-feed, but then you could just have animals and keep your game on 120 times speed, and the only thing you got to do then is just keep going round with an autoloader collecting everything that is ready to sell. We've got an autoloader that will pick up egg boxes now, so we don't even need to mess around with the pallets. You can literally just drive past every chicken pen once a day, picking up all of the stuff that's there, all of the egg boxes that are there. You got a groom mod taking care of the horses, so you literally, you could just have animals everywhere, all over the map. You got the 32 animal husbandry thing as well, so you can auto do that. You can get more of those going on the map, and you've essentially removed the need to do anything yourself at all in any way, shape or form, which kind of defeats the object of the game, doesn't it? You know, so on paper, the idea of it looks pretty good. Now, if you're an arable farmer, if you like arable farming, and that's kind of your big thing that you want to do, yeah, I can see the attraction of having your animals being fed automatically, so that you've still got the animals going on the map, but you haven't got to spend too much time worrying about them. But the more I think about this one where you feed the animals automatically, the more I think it's kind of a temporary solution while you're trying to generate a whole load of money. However, it's a script, so, you know, it's not something that you'd need to use for a console. You wouldn't be able to use it for a console. And if you're playing on PC, why go to all the bother of doing that when you could just go and edit the XML file? So, you know, if you want to have a game where you've got a mountain of money, you don't need to have the animals being... I mean, yeah, it does... It's a slightly more realistic approach than editing the XML file, I'll give you that, because you're not magicking money out of nowhere. You're just kind of fast-forwarding time and skipping a whole load of mundane jobs. And so there's that argument to it as well. There's a lot of toing and froing. There's a lot of toing and froing on this in my own head as well. I'm going to leave the Bredel right there because I'm probably going to want to come back to it. And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to get our seed drill. At the moment, we've got these horses, but I need to leave it a day or two before I get more horses. We want these chickens to use up some of their grain, and then we'll see about replacing that small chicken pen with another small horse pen, which will allow us 16 horses on the map at one time. When we buy the bigger horses, the bigger horse enclosure, that allows 16 horses in there. So yeah, we'll keep the small one. We'll go for 2 small horse paddocks rather than 1 bigger one. And that's 16 horses that we've got at a time then. That's cycling through our great book of names at a reasonable rate, I feel. We've got wheat in here, so I'm going to plant wheat in this field. What did we have in this field last time? I think we had wheat in this field last time. We did. Most crop rotations that I know of, that for any farming that I used to be involved with, they would actually use wheat twice. They would do wheat twice, then barley, and then either peas or canola, OSR. That was the standard rotation. It's 4 crops that they rotated. So it would be wheat, barley, OSR or canola, wherever you are in the world, and then it would go back to 2 crops of wheat. So the second crop of wheat would have an expected lower yield than the first crop of wheat. Usually the first crop of wheat would be winter wheat, which is typically a higher yielding one than spring wheats anyway. So your first crop on the field would be winter wheat. Then your second crop on the field would be spring wheat. You'd expect spring wheat to have a lower yield than winter wheat, and it would have a lower yield because there'd be less nitrogen fixed into the soil by that point. Then you would grow a crop of barley, and then after that you'd grow a crop of either peas or canola, because that's a plant that fixes nitrogen back into the soil, so it's very often used in a rotation in order to have this bonus nitrogen put back into the soil ready for the next crop, which would then be wheat again. Winter wheat, that would follow on to there. We grew peas on that particular farm, so some of the fields would have peas growing in them rather than OSR or canola, whatever you want to call it. And then when it came to, everything else would be the same. Everything else would, it's not going to make any difference whether it was peas or whether it was canola, but it's just the harvesting. So certain fields, you'd never grow peas on them because those certain fields would just not, they were too rough for it, or too stony for it. You had to be a little bit more picky about doing that because of the way that you harvested the peas. It was dried peas, so it was combinable peas. You didn't have like a special pea viner and do fresh peas. This was for the dry, specifically for the dry pea market, particularly I think it was marrow fat peas. So some of it was for human consumption, some of it was stock consumption. But yeah, we used to grow quite a few of them. You couldn't do this in a rough field because when you harvest them, the dried peas, they as they dry, they lie down on the ground and they lie flat. So it's basically your entire crop is lying flat on the ground, like you got a field of wheat that is all lodged and is lying flat on its side. Peas would do that, and whichever way your prevailing wind came from, that would decide which direction the peas would be lying down as well. So you'd have to go the opposite way with the combine, so that the head of the pea was feeding into your the front of the combine in order to be able to harvest them. So that decided which direction of travel you went in. So you always had to know where your prevailing wind was from, so you knew which direction to cultivate the field to give you the easiest, smoothest ride with the combine. Occasionally, it wouldn't sort of be practical to do it like that with the field. We did have one field where the tram lines and the cultivations had been done at 90 degrees to the direction that all the peas were lying, and that took a lot longer to combine because the combine's bouncing all over the place. You had to go a lot slower. And, of course, it made it more difficult to keep your header into the peas as well. You couldn't use any of the auto contour features or anything else like that people might be used to. It doesn't work with peas. Auto contour can't cope with going that low down to the ground. So that wasn't an option for anybody that was involved with it whatsoever. And did you notice that I missed a little bit there? When we came over, I think that was the bit that caused us trouble when we were combining previously. So if I just quickly spin round, I'm also going to have a little drink. I'm getting a little bit croaky here. Right there in the middle, there's a little tiny bit that seems to have been missed. And I'm not quite sure why it missed it. There's no logical reason. Of course, our tractor is not the strongest of tractors. So it's missing a little bit here. Is that... See, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it might be that we missed a little bit there with the plough. Just the tiniest little piece was missed with the plough. And it's... But that's weeds. That's actually... That's a weed right there. If I go from this direction... See what that does. No, that's still left it. There's one little bit right there. One errant weed that is not coming up. So why is that not coming up? Very peculiar, don't you think? Very, very peculiar. But this is looking pretty good. We've got this one now going. It looks like we got snow on the ground. But I'm liking this look. There we go. Right, we'll carry on with that one. And then... this is the third time round the field, so I'll then set the hired help going on this. We can go back to our ploughing over there and finish ploughing up the track there. We also want to plough along the top of that field. and get all of that done as well, so that we've got our bigger field. We'll plant all of that field with grass. This one here, we're going to want to run over it with fertilizer once we've done this. That's not going to take very long at all. That'll be an easy task to take care of. So I'll come up to there, lift, and we'll just whiz round in a circle like this. There we go. Patch 1.3 should be out fairly soon. It's in beta testing at the moment. I think I talked about this last week as well. Soon as it is ready for general release, I'll add it into the game, but I'm not going to risk running a beta patch onto the game because it could end up causing me problems, and I don't want to lose all my save game files. I have once previously lost my save game files, and I had to cut 2 series short. I don't want to do that again. I do keep some backups, but yeah, I don't back everything up as much as I should. I should probably do more backups, just in case something goes horribly wrong. But I always forget, right? I have these grand, wonderful dreams of doing backups at all times and making sure that I do it properly and sensibly, and, you know, I act all grown up and stuff like that, and then it never happens. I play games and I forget all about acting like a grown-up, and then people frown at me and wonder what I'm doing, and I get all confused, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Back up there a bit more. Right. Now if I press H, he should go all the way down through. He's got that little kink. We got one little tiny bit that sticks out right there. It does bug me that that little bit sticks out. He should go on past the house. He does. Right, he's going to be a very good boy, and he's going to carry on doing everything that he needs to do. And this person over here has now had his lunch. So we can carry on and we can do some more plowing right up through here. And I'm going to plow all the way up here. I'm not actually creating very much in the way of new fields going up here, just on this bit. But the reason I'm doing it like this is because I want to make sure that I get all of it and I don't like accidentally leave a bit that's not field. So if I go all the way up like that, it's just going to keep it nice and smooth and perfect. Right, now, the big bit up through here, this is going to be the more difficult bit, is... Do I get the... I think I will. Right, I think we're going to get the landscaping out just a little bit. I know we got 180, and we do want to get to some more landscaping. We want to get some more land, and this is going to use up some of my money. But I do have a reason for this. I want to make sure that we get this right. So I want the edge of the field to come right up to there. But it's not going to let me go too close to that edge because I don't own the land. Oops. Right. Also, I don't want to do that either. I don't want to level it. I want to do this function. And this is why I wanted to do this before I started doing any plowing, because otherwise... Yeah, see, I've pulled up a great big lump right there, which I shouldn't have done, because it's now telling me that I don't own the land, even though I do own the land, and it won't let me do anything with it. I do own the land. You can't tell me that I'm not allowed to modify that back down to where it was. Right? That was my bit of land. Apparently not. Apparently that is not going to be my bit of land anymore. We'll go along the edge of this. Right, see there, we've got one tree stump there that we've missed. We need to go back and get that one. There's another tree stump there. Very easy to miss the tree stumps in here. I'm just going along the edges. It's not modifying that little bit. It's modifying the rest of it just fine. And it's leveling, it's smoothing it out really nicely. So I'm not going to go too close to that edge, but it is very good being able to see where these stumps are. So we'll have to go and get the Bruks wood chipper on in a minute. We'll leave the plough right where it is. We'll grab that Bruks wood chipper. Come up here. I'm just going to go along the edge, because I do want to do some ploughing. We got another bit right there. Terrain cannot be modified because we've got that tree in the way. Right, let's leave that for a minute. I'll start you up. And that plough needs to be set right there. We've got a quick bit of work that we got to go and do before we can finish off this. I need that wood chipper down there, which is the single greatest wood chipper ever. I know I've got another stump grinder on the other tractor, but quite frankly right now I don't really care. I want this one. This one's much faster and it's much more likely to get everything out of the way from what we want to do. I think there's the other side. I think is fine. I don't think we need to worry about that. So I'll do that, and I'll do that as well. Unload you like that. That's fantastic. And then we come on round here like this, and I can start grinding away. Lower you down. And I'll get rid of that one, and we should, in theory, then be able to go through and remove all of the tree stumps that we need to be able to remove. Not remove the tree stumps. We should be able to do everything that we need to do with the landscaping after doing this. So just chop that bit off there. Right, there's no more bits under there. Back up a bit further. There's another one right there that I need to get rid of. There's only a little tiny one. Pick you out. You're gone completely as well. Is there any more? I think it was only those three. We go back up here. There is a tree over here that we want to take out. Although, I don't know that we need to worry about that one. Because the field here is, well, we're not going to be going right up into this corner. Right? We don't want to go this far up into the corner anyway. Do we? No. Right, so I'll shut that one off a minute. I'll do that. And start landscaping. Right. And then the edge of our field that we can go to is over here. Isn't it? Oh, wait a minute. I can go all the way up. Do I really own all that? Oh, I do. I own a little piece of that side of it. So that's actually... that bit there is land that we own. I don't own land out there, but this bit here is land that we do own. But I don't want to go that far out. It's not going to work if I go that far out. I want to just go sort of straight up through here, really, up to this point about here. So I'm just going to do it to there and do the leveling feature on here. I'm not going to level that. I'm not going to level the rest of it. We may come back and do a bit more leveling in a minute. But I don't want to. I don't want to like go through and do too much leveling before we do the ploughing. I want to do the edge of it. I'm not going to go through the middle because kind of doesn't feel right to do that. I don't know why. I don't like the idea of going through and doing that before I start doing this. Now, I'll bring that all the way up through there. We've got that. That'll lower that down. There's that big hump there that's disappearing. And surprisingly, it is actually allowing me to modify the terrain around that tree stump. Even though the tree stump is there, it's still allowing the terrain to be modified around it, which is genuinely surprising to me. So we'll run back over and we'll get the chipper onto that. I've got another bit over here. This is all leveling down quite nicely now. That's perfect. That's what we want. Bring that down there. We haven't spent very much money on this either. There's another tree there, a little one. I didn't even notice that previously. To bring that out. You do not own this land. That's sort of coming out to the end of what we've got then, isn't it? And then... right, so the boundary of our land is sort of coming up there. So we'll have to bring the line of the edge of the field down this way, I think. It does come back up here. But this here, I don't think I want to touch that. I don't think we need to. At least I'm hoping that's the case. So then I want to bring a track. And I want to be able to have that track there. And I also want to be able to have that track there. But the same time, I don't want anything getting in the way of anything. Terrain cannot be modified here. That was the bit that I wanted to track on, was here, so that I could like bring something up. But maybe we need to bring it up there. So to come in round here. We've got this open piece here that we can't do anything with. In 1.3, we should be able to start adding in grass and stuff like that. I think it is, anyway. We'll do that later. We're not going to do that now. That's a feature that we'll look at later. Possibly when 1.3 gets here and adds... I'm sure it was. Unless it was a mod that I seen. I know there was a mod that was put in as well. It's, somebody did release a mod as well that is added in that functionality, which I think is really cool. And I'll lower you down here, like this. Right, that's instantly moved that out. So it may have just been a visual thing on there, and it wasn't actually anything that we needed to worry about. So then we've got a little tiny tree just there. Can I remove that little tiny tree? I think that's actually just a shrub. I think it is. Right. Well, what we'll do is I'll fold that one up, and I'll fold that one up as well. I'm going to make the assumption that we don't need the Bruks chipper anymore, so I will run it back down here. We may end up having to come back and grab it again. We may not. I'm not really sure. And I will put the plough back on. But we've run out of time for today's episode, so we're not going to be able to do very much more. If you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And as always, if there is anything that I've been doing in the video that you think, well, hang on a minute, Frith, that's just a little bit too ridiculous, please, by all means, get into the comments section and tell me what you think I've been doing that is a little bit too ridiculous for your tastes, and come up with alternative solutions and things like that. There is no... At no point will I ever delete a comment where somebody says, I think what you've done is utterly ridiculous and shouldn't have been done. The only comments that ever get deleted are the ones where bad language is used. I got sent a private message the other day, someone complaining that I deleted their comment because I was trying to trying to censor the internet or some such idiocy, and also because I didn't like criticism. And it's not the fact that they criticized, their comment got automatically filtered out by YouTube because it was filled with a load of bad language. And I pointed this out. I said, well, it had a load of bad language in the comment. I remember the comment. I said, you're more than welcome to go and put those words, you're more than welcome to go and put that sentiment, that feeling, into a comment that doesn't involve bad language as well. And it'll stay there, and then it can, you know, everybody else can take a look, and it can be judged on its merits. I'm not going to delete a comment because somebody doesn't like what I've done. Absolutely not. I'll never do that. I've no intention of doing that. I like to know what people think I've done wrong, just as much as I like to know what people think I've done right. If I never know what anybody thinks I've done wrong, how am I supposed to improve anything I ever do? So don't feel that your comment is going to be deleted just because you said you don't like what I've done, or you've said that you think that that is utterly ridiculous. I welcome those comments because it helps me to improve what I'm doing and alter what I'm doing, or at least address what you pointed out. No, I do get things pointed out where I'm not doing things particularly realistically on this series. And yes, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I'm not doing things particularly realistically on this series. But then I've no intention of doing them 100% realistic on this series. This series is more for exploring what we can do with the game. I do try to keep it within the realms of realism, sort of. You know, I'm not. It's not like the Garage Tour where I'm just grabbing a whole load of stuff and having a big play around. We are still farming, which is why I'm sort of thinking, you know, whereas I like the idea of that mod where you can feed all the animals automatically, I don't think it has a place in this series. You know, maybe it would be something that I would look at in one of the live streams so that we don't have to, we can have animals on there, but we don't have to worry about them. So I was thinking of doing an FS70, an FS19 live stream at some point soon, where I do the entire thing running at 120 times speed. I never slow it below 120 times speed for the entire duration of the stream. And we see what we can do within that sort of limit. It could prove quite interesting. It might be too problematic to try and do it, but something like that, I think then using a mod that allows us to automatically feed any animals we've got could be quite a good thing. But yeah, I don't know how that would work out. I've got a couple of little ideas for it, but I don't know how it will work at the moment. But we'll carry on with doing this right here in our next episode. We'll get that planting finished. We've got some grass that we need to plant here as well. And then once all the planting is done, we'll start fast-forwarding time again so that we can, well, mostly we'll just be gathering up a load of eggs and wool that we can sell while we're waiting for our crops to grow and making more money and getting more chickens down on the ground. But until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.